Well, hard to narrow it down, but I think that our journey at Rubicon for the past year has been a bit of a microcosm of the industry at large, and that is we've really tried to focus on trust and transparency. And I think if you pan back and you look at most of the issues that arose in 2018, for marketers in particular, it was all about trust. Who am I working with? Can I trust them? And transparency as it relates to costs, as it relates to dynamics, all the nuanced elements of a programmatic ad buy. And so I think that what we really focus on at Rubicon and have for the last year is how can we be that leader in both trust and transparency. It's often cited Mark Pritchard of Procter & Gamble and his rallying cry to his agencies and to all the suppliers that they're going to stop spending until they get the answers that they've been asking for and haven't received for many years. I think if you look at it from his perspective and from the industry, this is an industry that's growing at 20% CAGR, that's reaching 100 billion US. And still some of the basic things that you would think about a mature industry like that and a fast growing and a growing in importance industry for marketers still remain unanswered, and that's to the detriment of all of us. A dollar goes in from Procter & Gamble, 30 cents comes out to the BBC for their ad. Where did the 70 cents go? And that's just a directional number, but the reality is, even if they were to task their agency with trying to figure that out, it's really hard to piece together not just where the 70 cents went, but who did it go to and what value did they bring to it. And only then can you start to say, I don't think that's enough value for what you're taking out of the system. Either take less or provide more in terms of value. And those very basic questions that any marketing channel has answered eons ago are now just being solved in programmatic, and it's great for the industry because if anything, I cited before how fast growing it was and how large it is, that's been keeping back even further growth in size. Probably not quick enough for anyone who's a proponent of it, but Rubicon Project is going live with a marketer and tracking the dollar through the system with all participants. And it seems like a very easy exercise. The craziness is that it isn't, which is a problem in and of itself, but that probably gets solved downstream. But no, so it's live. So I think 2018, the hard questions were asked. We're exiting 2018 with not a tremendous amount of change, but everything teed up for 2019 to be a really seminal year as it relates to marketers now being able to say, those 10 people, not enough value, off my list. Those guys, value delivered, understood, fine. And hopefully more dollars are going to the media organizations and not to ad tech people in between. I think the clear winners will be brands. I believe that by being able to understand better the food chain, the advertising food chain, then they can eliminate that element as something that keeps them up at night and focus a lot more on effectiveness and focus a lot more on the results from the campaign as opposed to having to worry about, I don't even know who's taking my dollar as it goes in the system. Once you resolve that, then you can really, as an industry, get back to making advertising great and making it effective. I think what you're going to see is a real consolidation of platforms that are trusted, that marketers will buy from. We have heard agencies, global agencies, talk about getting down to a handful from the present 60. And so I think there's going to be a real shakeout in terms of, and the winners will be those that are scaled and that are global and that are transparent and that are efficient. One of the reasons why they've been so successful, many reasons, but they've made it really, really easy for marketers to buy from them. So if you buy from Facebook, you buy from Google, it's really easy. And it's scaled, right? You can spend a lot of money in a fast period of time and not a whole lot of friction, not a whole lot of waste. And if you look at the open internet, it's been anything but that, right? If you tried to replicate the scale of Google and went to 600 sites, imagine the added friction, the added costs, and the added... So what we're excited about as an industry in the programmatic side is that automating that process with 600 websites starts to replicate Google, yet we haven't gotten all the way there because it's still too costly to do it. And it's still too unclear what happens, and there's still transparency lacking. So the excitement for the open web, for ad tech companies like us, is that one day in the not too distant future, if you have $1, putting $1 to work on the open web could be every bit as efficient and every bit as accountable as it has been in the walled gardens. That's why they've been so successful. They've made it so easy and have scaled so many eyeballs. We've got the eyeballs. We're starting to make it easy, but I think we're very close to making it similar so that, and an advantage is a lot more data is shared in an open web scenario than a walled garden. And so that's the excitement to me, that I think in the next couple of years, the inexorable march of the walled gardens can be halted by the open web if done correctly. The themes that we're seeing come to fruition in 2018 have been talked about for a decade, yet no one's done anything about them. And I think what's different about 2018 is people are all doing the right things that are going to be the folks that are the winners when this shakes out. They're not necessarily just getting rewarded for it right now because it hasn't gone live. The tracking the dollar through the system, with whether it's blockchain or another way to measure it, they're now just coming live. So I think as 2019 ends, they'll be like, wow, we made some really hard decisions as a company in 18. That didn't bear much fruit, but boy, at the end of 19, it all kind of came together.
Hello, I'm James Wright. Thanks for watching Marketing Media Money. To check out more online videos, just click on the boxes and don't forget to subscribe to the CNBC Live channel at the bottom of the screen.